Hi everybody, I am here with the very lovely Dr. Nicole Gruhl. Hi Nicole.
Hi, everyone.
And as most of you would probably know by now, Nicole is our Pocketbooks of Hope, our KindaProud Rep for our Pocketbook of Hope, Emerging Proud Through Notes. And I'm going to ask you a bit about the meaning of notes, Nicole. But just to give those of you who don't know about the project a bit of an overview, we are working on a series of pocketbooks of hope and transformation to give a positive message to people who might be experiencing different themes of emotional distress, a more kind of a rounded view about what going through these experiences can look like at the other end, you know, trying to change this pervasive message in society that's negative, that you've got something wrong with you, that you're going to have it for life. It's like, actually, we want to give a voice to the people that are saying, no, that's not my story. My story is that this was a blessing and I've come through, transformed, evolved, my life is better for it, to give that message of hope to people who might be struggling, because we know through research that that's one of the things that very powerfully helps people in their recovery journey. So we have a rep for each of the books, and Nicole, we're so grateful to you for heading up our Emerging Proud Through Notes Non-Ordinary Transcendent Experiences, which is a brilliant phrase that I got from you. Thank you very much, and thank you for allowing us to use it, this book.
Well, thank you, William Broad. He came up with it. Yeah.
But you know, it's like the domino thing, isn't it? I hadn't heard of William until I'd heard of you. I got it from you, and it's like we just kind of pass this on as we go and grow and learn. So yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for being here as well to talk about what that means to you. So I don't know if you want to give a bit of an overview about what notes means and a bit of your research. That would be amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, well, first of all, thank you. And I'm so pleased to be part of this project. It's pocketbooks. It's a great idea. They're simple, they're reachable. It's a very for the everyday people accessible tool. And I love the vision behind it, that these are going to be accessible in public places, reaching people who could do with reading a few stories briefly about hope and transformation, because that's what they're going through, is a situation that requires a bit of that. So I'm thrilled to be part of this project. And so the pocketbook that I'm heading up is on notes. We're collecting between 20 and 30 stories on people who have had a non-ordinary transcendent experience. So what is that? Well, it's the type of thing that it's non-ordinary, it's out of your everyday mode of operation, and it's transcendent in that it extends your sense of self. So examples of that are near-death experiences, spiritually transformative experiences, awakenings of different kinds, epiphanies, those grand ahas in life, where, you know, a paradigm shift occurs. So the term itself, notes, is incredibly broad. It actually holds over 200 types of specific experiences. So we're not going to list them all here, but you get a sense of what that's about. So we're welcoming people who have had an experience that fits under that banner.
Wonderful. Thank you, Nicole.
And I should add to that, sorry, Katie, we have a bit of a lag, so I should add to that as well, paranormal experiences. That's a big chunk of those, and the peak experiences and the exceptional human experiences. They're, I guess, broad areas that also fit under that banner. Mm-hmm.
And I was really so pleased when I came across your book and this term, because I wanted to kind of encapsulate experiences that didn't necessarily fit into the spiritual emergence umbrella, and it's like, let's normalize this stuff. It's actually, you know, they're called non-ordinary because at the moment in our paradigm that we're living in society at the moment, they would be considered non-ordinary, but I think, you know, the more and more people that speak out and share their experiences, the more normalized they can become. And that's also one of the aims of this book and sharing these experiences is, you know, the more that we can reduce the stress and the feeling of isolation when people go through these things, then the more that can help people to heal too. So yeah,
you're absolutely right. Yeah, I'm a big believer that these experiences are a natural, normal part of the human experience. Some people happen to access them perhaps more easily than others, or their life circumstances bring them about. And certainly it would be great to move towards normalizing. And you're so right about that term non-ordinary. That's a cultural imposition. So we happen to be living in a cultural paradigm right now that sees these experiences as non-ordinary. And wouldn't it be great if we're living in a place one day where that is no longer the case, and it's a good thing to be part of that shift.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think, you know, as Kelly, one of our other KindaProud reps, says, it's about like-minded individuals collaborating to change the world. And that's what it feels like we're doing. You know, we're just creating this new normal. So yeah, so we're inviting you, if you've had any of these experiences, if anything that Nicole has just explained resonates with you and your experience, we'd be delighted to share your story on the blog and perhaps in the book as well. We're going to have to kind of, you know, yeah, maybe narrow down what we include to 20 or 30 stories for this series, but hopefully there will be more. We're hoping that this will take off and we'll do more and more themes of books as we go along. So if you'd like to share your story, I'll share the link below about where you can email in and find out more information as to how to do that. So yeah, is there anything that you'd like to add about why this is so important, like why you're so passionate about this, Nicole?
Well, we know that sharing stories, people sharing their personal stories of transformation, are beneficial in so many ways. So it increases well-being on a lot of levels, even intimacy. And statistically, for example, take the near-death experience community, the near-death community, there's a higher rate of divorce within that community statistically than, than regular society. And this is because these experiences, these notes can be really hard to talk about. They often shift our fundamental values, the way we see the world, the way we operate in the world. And when such a shift happens, it can have a ripple effect on all of our relationships. And ideally, we would be able to bring people through that with us. We would be able to express it, and yet often there's little language, there's no language sometimes for some of the things that people can experience, whether it be really beatific, bliss-filled love and light on one side, or whether it be a very dark and kind of disturbing experience on the other. Language sometimes doesn't cut it. So there's all of these complications that can occur afterwards in the process of integration. However, we do know that just that act of sharing your story can be one really positive step forward in moving the entire experience to another place. So this video is an invitation to you. If this calls, if you feel it's time for you to share your story, and it's not always time to share the story, but if it's time for you and there's a piece of your story you want to share, this is a great way to do it. It will potentially be published through the book and spread and shared with other people. So yeah, we look forward to hearing from you.
Absolutely, we do. Thank you, Nicole. I think something you mentioned there is really important as well to highlight, is about, you know, it's not just about sharing your story to help other people. It's a part of a really important part of the integration journey as well. And I found that sharing my own, it's like I look back and think, you know, what an important part of recovery that was, because it helped to reduce the shame that I didn't get any negative feedback. And I think, you know, it's important as well for people to be supported and ready. You know, if you've not shared your story before and it's the first time, then, you know, it's important to make sure you've got a support network around you, and you know that you can talk to people about the impact of sharing that, because going public for the first time is not an easy thing to do as well. So yeah, it's not something to take lightly, but we'll be sending information around that in the email as well. So yeah, thank you
Yeah.
so much, Nicole.
And well, and you triggered a thought too. The biggest picture behind that too is on the personal level, it's great for sharing, but beyond that, what we can do for one another when we share, you know, and ultimately, of course, that big global picture, if we really are going to solve these major issues that we have on the planet of our time, these experiences matter. They're important. They provide other ways of understanding, behaving, and innovating as we move forward. So there's a collective advantage as well when we can share these stories with one another as well.
Connection.
Yeah.
What is it? It changes the way we live, love, and lead in life. Is that does a quote from your book? Yeah.
That's the one. It does. That's it.
So we are quite literally
Yeah.
changing the world, and we invite you to be part of that shift. So thank you so much, Nicole, for being with
My
us,
pleasure.
and for being our wonderful rep. I'm so delighted to have you and be working with you. It's such a joy. Look forward to
Thanks, guys. Look forward to hearing from you. Thanks, Katie.
Thank you. Bye.